Welcome to Kim and Angela Talk. Kim is a biodynamic craniosacral therapist, Reiki master, PSYCH-K facilitator, curious human, forever student, and a loving mom. Angela is a Reiki master, PSYCH-K facilitator, emotion code and body code practitioner, metaphysical nerd, compulsive learner, and childless cat lady. Come along for the ride as they explore the mysteries of the universe in their own lives, all while enjoying a good laugh together.
Hi, it's Angela.
And it's Kim.
And together we're Kim.
And together we're here today.
Yeah, we're here today. Kim and Angela talk.
There you go. We're more Googling and talking at the moment, but it's all good.
Should we do that again?
Sure.
Or leave it?
Maybe it goes along with the flow today.
It kind of does.
I'm just leaving it. Yeah.
I think it's because Mercury is turning direct, I think tomorrow or something. Like we're in that phase of Mercury turning direct. That's probably that's my answer for everything right now.
Okay. It's giving its last hurrah.
It is.
If you will. And we're feeling it today. So.
It should. Yeah, that's for sure, dude. Anyway, take it away, Kim.
All right. Well, today's theme, if we can extract it from the montage of, I think Angela and I both have like 4 or 5 or 6 decks open for what should be a 3-card kind of investigation, maybe 4 if we do the theme. But yeah, it was kind of here, there, and everywhere. So I'm going to start saying that I think the theme was, it's just that simple, which it's totally not. That's how simple it is. It's just not that simple. Which kind of makes sense, but doesn't make any sense at all. So yeah, life's not simple. We'd like to, make it a little bit simpler. I think that's a good goal to have. Maybe it'd be a little bit simpler, but in reality, it tends to not be just that cut and dry and simple. Well, lots of shades and all there and stuff. And so, yeah, so I think the main theme that was supposed to kind of come out of the whole thing is movement and flow of our words and using physical movement to create flow in our lives, even if going for a meeting and walking while you're talking would be a good example of that. So that was kind of like the little bit of the outside of the theme of where we're going to go. And then we'll piece together, as we always do, our own messages that come up, plus the audience message, to then see how they kind of all fit nicely together somehow. And do their own flow.
Yeah, we'll see. Because that did come from like the Sacred Hags Oracle deck. And this is the card, Pagan Poetry. And it was being in flow with your words and your body, speaking your truth. And that's not the exact lines, but like for me, it was like, well, when you're speaking your truth, like also noticing how it resonates in your body. Because I feel like the message of being in flow and movement is also really connecting the sort of idea of your upper chakras of your wisdom and your vocals and your heart to your lower chakras of your root, sacral, that other one, solar plexus,
arch nemesis, solar plexus now.
Right. So that if you're connecting it into your body and noticing it in your body, like how do things resonate? Mm-hmm. What's going on in your body when you're quote unquote speaking your truth. And if it feels good and if you're in flow and everything sort of powers out, like is our goal for every podcast. I don't think we
totally... Today, maybe yes, maybe no.
Right? See how that resonates. But what if you're speaking your truth and it feels not good? Why is that? Like what's going on? Is it because of who you're talking to? Is it because of something that is causing obstruction in yourself energetically to expressing that flow or to speaking your truth? Then that's something to sort of examine, which was, also kind of like an interesting idea and theme, but at the same time it was kind of sort of hard for us to really get to this point. And so we just kept kind of going in and looking at things and So yeah, I kind of just took it as beginning. I even wrote it down. Begin to freely speak words while you move, and then um, mark yourself as the truth, or your tongue as the truth teller was part of the thing. But it's also about like, excuse me, fizzy water burp. But just a small one. Um, but yeah, just seeing how movement aids. I feel like it's like maybe movement of the energy, and maybe that's why like say as you mentioned like the walking meetings that you or when you're walking and talking with somebody. Someone actually mentioned this to me the other day, how they like to be on the phone while they're or walking while they're on the phone, and like I see that a lot, and we've actually mentioned that we all like kind of take it as like, well, you're not really being present on your walk, but maybe that's really what that person is using the walk for, is to be present on the phone with whoever they're talking with and moving, doing the motion, doing the moving, to kind of aid in the flow of their energy so that their words flow. I don't know.
And I mean, I think I would take it too, like sometimes, difficult conversations can be had while you're walking next to someone that you might not be able to sit down face to face and have too. Just the space, like you said, the movement, the space, the intensity is not the same in the energy. It's still there, but it's like dispersed kind of because you're involving the body in it. So it's not just like focused, uber focused.
Yeah.
In the eyes, it's kind of more dispersed throughout. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And so I will say that there's going to be a lot of flow in this video today because
Flying around this way, flying around that way.
Yeah. Maybe where the cards were taking us was kind of not necessarily one place or the other, but at the same time, everything is kind of connected.
Yes, when you really do kind of look at it, they all did kind of come together for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, except I'm not really sure where to segue into.
Okay, well, so your first message that you got relative to the theme of it's just that easy, or it's just that simple, or it's in the flow.
Well, I have no idea, honestly, but I will say that, like, one of the things that we do talk about sometimes is like Tao, we haven't really talked in depth about the Tao, but one of the concepts of the Tao is basically going with the flow of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're allowing things to be choiceless. You are allowing life to sort of guide you. You're not really having judgment about whether or not something, a situation, or a thing that's happening is good or bad. You're just like, there's the story that Eckhart Tolle tells in one of his books, I forget which one, about like the stuff kept happening to this guy, and he kept saying, everybody be like, oh, that's so great. And he'd be like, maybe. And like, something bad would happen. Oh, that's awful. And he's like, maybe, that. And in the end, like his house falls into the ocean,
Right.
But he's in the hospital.
Isn't he? Yeah, in the hospital. Exactly. So had he been home, he would have fallen into the,
right.
So we never kind of know.
No, right.
We don't know what that could have maybe avoided or been a better option to lead in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all about, kind of like, so he survived the thing, right? So like that was good. But like the thing is that's so interesting about it is then it just being all about it being in the flow of life and so it can be simple. It can be simple. But it's not always simple because we also do tend to have a tendency to make things more difficult for ourselves than they need to be. But and not just personally, but just as human beings, like, the whole just society in and of itself, because sadly we're not all sitting around in a nice little village where everything's very a simplified life. We live in these big cities with these big institutions and organizations and all these interactions and stuff. And so, yeah, it's kind of hard to get into your flow sometimes. And someone recommended a book to me that I haven't read yet, but the idea of it sounds really cool, and I will read it. It's called The Surrender Experiment.
Okay.
And it's all about how when he decided to start surrendering, things really just kind of flowed in his life. So
nice.
more on that later.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So one of the things, well, I'm just going to go into the audience messages actually,
Okay.
if that's okay. Because
Sure.
one of the things that came up for the audience message was even in the darkest times, there is a gift.
Mm.
And that came out of two cards because the first card, and this is how things are not simple, was this card from my Ancient Stones Oracle on Stonehenge. And it's all about solstice and vitality, confidence, power, decisiveness is the basic message. It's about energy rising and all this other jazz or whatever. But the specific lines were about the moon. And like how Stonehenge was all along with the solstices, it was about possibly tracking moon phases and eclipses and stuff like that. And so it was more about like this sort of understanding of the flow of life, or understanding like the celestial patterns, I guess you would say.
Being connected to them, right?
Right.
Like that their lives would be flowing with that. And
Right.
they had an understanding of it, when to plant or harvest or
All that
whatever else was going on, rituals and so on.
stuff that people did back then.
Yes.
And then the clarifying message was out of my Fairy Wisdom Oracle deck, and it was like my little goth fairy here, which is Gift Revealed, which is like the ones like even when something life gives you something that you're not thrilled about, it's like you look for the gift, because there's a gift in everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So take that what you will. And
Right. Well, it's funny because my message tying in with the moon cycles and what have you was, did I leave it out? Yes, I did. I was asking for help with as we were going through this. Well, maybe I have something to contribute with that. And it was the disseminating moon, which is card that came out of the Moonology deck.
Mhm.
And basically saying, coming off of the big full moon that we just had, now's the time to kind of take a pause and kind of see what came out of that full moon experience. So that was piggybacking on your message. So I think it was appropriate timing for if people are watching it within a certain time frame of just backing that up. That again, looking to the moon and kind of following the different patterns of timing for things to process stuff. It's not always time for action. Sometimes you need that pause to breathe.
And that really does go along with the idea of going with the flow of life, It's like, because you don't always need to be going.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you do need to take a beat,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
chill and kind of observe things and see what's going on. And sometimes before you even can get to the place of surrender, you need to take that pause and really feel into it, which kind of also does lead back to the beginning where, like, when we're speaking our truth, but we're also noticing what's going on in our body, going through the movement thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to fit. I think maybe that could zoom into my message that I got relative to flow. So the card that came up, which is a deck for the first time that's come up, is this tarot deck, which I haven't had come up before, which is kind of a fun one because it highlights with the birds that I love so much. And the particular card that came up for me was the Queen of Pentacles, the Osprey. So
Nice.
kind of
I love that.
fun. And the particular message out of the booklet that came out was flow occurs when the individual gains the ability to maintain calm in most situations.
Mhm.
And that resonates obviously in a million things that we always talk about, which is, when we have an upset or we have anger or rage or sadness or whatever the reaction happens to be, it's a beautiful time to examine what's coming up and then do some investigations to see where that stems from, using a lot of the tools that we use. And the more you do the work, not to be a selling point, but the more you do the work, the less those things come up. So they highlight a lot easier because it's like, oh, I've been flowing along and life's pretty chill, not too many upsets. Then all of a sudden something will hit out of left field and you go, whoa, wait a second, what was that all about? Because everything's been okay. And then you go and check it out and see if there was some kind of subconscious belief going on, or check out your Mercury retrograde, see if that's having an influence. Might be you, might be them, but just to check up your own thing and then get back in your flow of where you were once you kind of identify and take a peek more in depth at what that's all about. So, yeah. So I know we've said it once, we've said it probably 100 times, but using those activations and those reactions are a definite gift that we're given to be able to kind of get in touch with what's going on. Because in order to get that, it starts in our gut. We'll have a feeling that maybe we're not even consciously aware of. Then the chemicals will engage to go along with that, and then zoom. And then we're like angry all of a sudden. And it's kind of like, what? Maybe there's a very good outwardly thing that's going on that might, but other times, feelings sneak up on us. I was telling you that earlier today about how, there were certain things going on that could have maybe triggered it, but that I started feeling sad, but it wasn't like boo-hoo-hoo sad. It was more like kind of almost observing the sadness in myself, and then just noticing it and going, I'm having sadness feelings, but not, over delving into it, what have you, but just acknowledging them and not, chasing them away or trying to divert attention from it, but just kind of being with it and just see what's coming up relative to that, and maybe doing messaging, which is kind of what I did. So it's, it helps. So look at that as like a positive thing, not, oh my gosh, I'm sad and I wasn't sad earlier, and why am I sad, and beating yourself up for being sad right now or not liking it. I mean, it doesn't feel great, but again, it's an invitation to embrace discovery, right?
No. Well, yeah, definitely there's something to be said for being present with your feelings when they're not the most positive feeling. I mean, I don't like to use positive or negative around feelings, but when they're not, the feelings necessarily that you want to have all the time, it's better to sit with them than to avoid them. Like I did for a long time.
Well, I think a lot of us don't.
A lot of us
want to sit with anxiety or sadness. Or,
yeah.
It's not really where we want to rock, but it happens. So
it does. But being able to sit with and feel your feelings and process them and honor them, and there's a lot to be said for that. You don't always have to take an easy out for those things. Sometimes it is good, though, to take a break from that. But at the same time, it depends on how chronic I feel like.
Yeah. Well, and too, I also wanted to just say, relative to that, like other people may not see it in you. You might hide it or not acknowledge it to others, but giving yourself that time is really you're seeing yourself, you're being seen, and you can give yourself that gift of being seen, which maybe you haven't had from others, maybe. So it's really kind of a give back to yourself. It's like, I see you, I feel you, I'm here for you, kind of thing.
Well, it's also a validation too, because like your feelings are always valid, no matter what. And like a lot of people do want to like poo-poo or negate.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
They don't want to. Yeah,
that's okay. Or how can I help? Like divert your attention to like make you feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
But the experiences that you have, the feelings you have about your experiences are all totally valid. They're yours. And there are reasons for them.
I was going to say they're probably coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where the beauty is when you have the awareness to sit with them, to feel them, to honor them, then you can go, oh, this is where that comes from. And then you can examine them, or, you can do something to try to release them, or to definitely release them. If you, do specific types of energy healing work, and there's lots of different ways to do that. We practice quite a few of them.
Yes.
There's all kinds of paths to, many roads to Mecca, as they say, and there's all kinds of paths to do that. And sometimes it's all about being present in the now, because as they say, when you're in the right now, everything's okay. So when you're projecting into the future or the past, that it's not. But at the same time, there's a reason a lot of that stuff comes up for you. So that, like, in the now, you can be feeling kind of crappy. And why is that? Because there's stuff from the past, or there's anxiety about the future. So it's not wrong. You can honor that too. And this actually does kind of tie into my message. I was like, we're never going to get to my message. So my message was from my water alchemy deck. And this is a mermaid with a lobster tail. She also kind of looks like a seahorse to me, but that's a lobster tail.
I agree. I just love the colors. The artwork's absolutely gorgeous.
I'm just trying to keep the glare off.
Yeah.
And it's aquifer, and it talks about this aquifer under the ocean and blah, blah, blah. But the specific message for me was you are uncovering and integrating multiple past life and karmic timelines. Ancient and primordial memories are surfacing to be healed, so more of your true, unique, and authentic self can be revealed. Which basically is the past 6 to 9 months of my life.
I'm gonna say yes. We done.
I've been doing a lot of that healing that's come up, even when unwanted or unasked for, and doing things that I thought were pretty basic, mundane things. Past life stuff, karmic relationships, have all come up to be healed and released and ended in some cases, the soul contracts being ended, the karmic cycles to be ended in this, which thank God, thank Goddess, thank God, whoever you want to thank.
Thank you.
Yes. Because one in particular karmic cycle was particularly unpleasant and destructive. But to have these things kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, because you don't really know it unless you experience it. But there is a relief definitely of having certain things sort of finished in this realm. And I don't know how to describe it. I was trying to have this conversation with someone else who does a lot of past life stuff. And it's like the karma, the Buddhists talk about karma, and like ending the cycle of rebirth and releasing this karma. I don't know if they really talk about how you do that. But I mean, what is karma? Karma is the actions. You create karma in your daily actions. Well, the karmas also can follow you from past lives. And I feel like my limited, very small human brain understanding, or what I've come to, is that it happened in this physical realm and it probably needs to be healed here. Which is probably why we don't get to heal it in the in-between times between lives. Because we have to continue to have the experiences for, and again, I have no idea really. These are just how I kind of like wrap my head around it. It's not even important if I'm right or wrong, honestly, but like for me, what I'm feeling and through my experiences is that these karmic relationships, these things that I get to end in this lifetime, well, I've learned those lessons. I don't need to continue forward with this stuff in the future. And I have a lot of things come up. And it's all very interesting how much that when I release and heal these things that have come from like past lives or whatever, but also inherited too. And the nice thing about doing this work is when you heal yourself, even if you aren't aware of it, you're also healing your generation ancestors and your descendants.
Yeah.
And if it's past life stuff, you're healing yourself in this lifetime, but also you're healing past lives and future lives, right? Because again, we talked a little bit about this before. It's like there's past life, or it's time is linear, time is cyclical, time, there's no time. This, well, it really isn't it just all true? You know, and these are just things that we try to shape our head around or try to like make understanding for, because that's how our brains work. That's how we as human beings work. Well, who cares? Honestly, you know, we don't really need to understand this stuff. It's just there, you know, it's just and to try to understand a lot of these things, I feel like you just wrap your, you know, go around the hamster wheel of your mind, right?
With our language for things too, we were talking about that, you know, words and things just kind of point in directions of things to our best understanding. They don't, you know, truly capture the essence of whatever it is that we're trying to, you know, so it's
right. Like goal statements in PSYCH-K, or the statements in the belief code. It's, or the energies that come up in the codes. It's what your conscious mind can understand, put a label on, what your subconscious mind knows, but can't express in real words because the subconscious mind is all in symbols. Right. You know? Yeah. So these energies have these limited words that are representative. Right. So
of something.
Of something greater.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, we might have an inkling of what those things are, and maybe we'll know more and more, you know, or have more of an understanding. But every single nuance, a lot of times things come up, people are like, but because they're focused really on the words.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, rather than the really getting the whole understanding that this is all about the energy behind it, the energies that are causing disruption in your body. And again, there's different ways to deal with this: Reiki, BCST, PSYCH-K, emotion, belief, body code, all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
IET. All these things are different ways of dealing with these energies and processing the energies so that they are no longer disrupting our physical body and our energetic body. Because also dense energy, you know. So yeah, and then just being able to be present in this moment, in this timeline where we are right now, regardless of like the fact that, okay, maybe we do have all these other things coinciding at this one period of time in all these different dimensions. Well, great. That's awesome, but it's not really part of this reality, so why worry about it? If it helps those other realities, awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, good for everybody.
Yeah, icing on the cake, as it were.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, and the beautiful thing is when you can sort of shift the energies or release and transform the energies that really aren't serving you, no matter where they come from, if they're from this lifetime, from your ancestors, or from past lives, then they're just not even impacting you in a way that is unwanted. And then you can go with this flow. You can be more in the flow of life and more Tao, and really be able to express the energy that is you in positive and beneficial ways, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you.
Exactly. No, I think that's very good as far as summing that all up.
Yeah, I just pulled all that out.
I love that. I love that. Well, it's funny. One of the things I asked for another message for more clarification to do with the one with the flow of, you know, being able to, you know, maintain calmness despite whatever else is going on. And karmic relationships came up, and saying how in one or more of our lifetimes, examining that can help release any old stuck energies or emotions, which is exactly what you were talking about. Because sometimes we do have to, I apologize. I have a puppy dog. I don't know who can hear, but
she wants to be a star too.
I know. She always
wants to be YouTube famous.
She's like, I have past lives as well. No.
He probably does. That dog of yours is
I know.
crazy
Yeah.
sensitive and smart and like so much stuff working with
Not
her.
to mention probably inherited stuff, I think, too, passed
Oh, yeah,
along the
right.
lines of maybe old breed. But one of the things we were talking about, going back to the keep it simple, or that it is so simple, or it could be that simple, and we were talking about how, like, the layers of looking and going into past lives and then all the emotions and kind of going down the rabbit hole. And it's like, oh, wouldn't it be great if it was that simple? And then we were talking about, um, if it was that simple, then we just all become enlightened and then couldn't really function because, like, we'd be egoless and just kind of like floating around, like not eating, not doing whatever. That's kind of not why we're just why we're not really here. And then I had said, talking about the fact that maybe, a reason and rationale behind why some things that we discover or that come up, we heal them and we transmute them and we integrate them, and then they don't come up anymore. But maybe part of the reason for priorities for healing that come up for us when we're doing the work for ourselves and for clients could be also that, part of our soul contract in being here is maybe having a reaction with someone, maybe so that they can have a reaction. Maybe we're not reacting, maybe they are reacting, and maybe there's some kind of interplay. And then maybe once that's done, or, if there's some karma between people or what have you, and then that, plays out, then that can be healed. But maybe there's, again, going with the flow of kind of life, knowing where divine guidance taking you, that there might just be a reason, the gift in it again of not having yet healed something, and then it comes up to be healed. It might not have been the divine timing for it yet, for various other reasons, because we're all so interconnected. Maybe you need to be able to resonate with someone over a hurt or a trauma that you had to speak with some stranger on the street that you can still relate to, because it becomes more and more difficult, which is kind of a good thing, to not have the emotions tied in with a trauma, so that you don't have that overwhelming body sensation of, could be a million different things, but from the trauma. But it's kind of like that old thing that they say too, to do with, like, once you learn a dance move or dancing, and now you become the teacher because your muscle memory is like bang on, the steps inside. Now you need to teach others, right? But in order to be an effective teacher, I had a friend that told me this, is that you have to go back to the time when you did not know how to dance in order to be able to instruct someone, because that's where they're starting from. And if you start teaching them and kind of skipping around and skipping ahead steps, not thinking, oh, well, they don't know that because they don't know anything about what it is we're doing, then you're not a great teacher, because you really need to go back into beginner's brain for things. And so I definitely think there might be an element of that still having, I'm sure there still are knowledge to pull on, even if we don't have the real body reaction to it. But I think maybe some other times, maybe it's another good way that, things are shown to us in different layers, that there might still be, maybe you have healed some things related to whoever it is that you're speaking to, but then you still feel this kind of, that's strange, that still kind of came up. Like, I'm wondering why, because I really have done a lot of work on that, right? And but then something's still there that still doesn't feel quite right, even though you're talking to them and helping them out. So it's giving you those little nuggets of gold in there, again, that still might not be quite healed, or a different area might not be healed, or it needs to be examined again. So yeah, I don't know. And then we talked about, was the last thing we talked about was, a beautiful friend of ours sent a message to me to do with kind of coming at life as a blank slate of creation, so that you don't live in your old story, that you try and come at something new and fresh. Like, if you had to present yourself to someone in a way that you would like to present yourself, what would that look like? And so then we were talking about, being a creator, or like a scientist, or making something new and something different and something that hasn't been, but then the archaeologist is like excavating all the old stuff out, right? Well, I think life and flow is an interplay between those things, because it's equally exciting to discover. Like we were saying, it's like, do we get obsessed with all of this uncovering and mystery of who we are? But, there is a time and a place for the archaeological dig of ourselves and our soul, to see where we've come from, what those past lives look like that have made us who we are today. It's not just our parents and our friends of this lifetime, but it's kind of the whole thing, our soul, are going through all of this. And there's time for that. And then there's also time to maybe pause, like our after the full moon, pause and think of maybe where we would like to go and discover new and kind of hit the more happy manifestation kind of zone of energy that we're looking towards the new, as opposed to, kind of, again, balance and flow between it all. I don't know if that makes sense relative to where we were just going. But anyway, just throwing that in there.
You know what? With the way the messages were for today and everything, and Mercury stationing direct, it totally fits in complete alignment with this podcast, and it's for our ADHD viewers.
There you go. We're a little bit over here, a little bit over there. Yeah.
Meryl will be the one to figure out what the hell we're talking about.
Well, they're going to take away what resonates with them, and that's the key thing with these things always. It's like there'll be a message in there for everyone, and everyone's interpretation will be their own based on where they're coming from. So it's the joy of this work. So,
well, actually, it's really funny too, because along with that, it goes a lot back to the idea. You get something that you're not completely satisfied with it. Well, be open-minded and find the gift.
Exactly. Yes. So guys, be open-minded today. Give the podcast a chance. Yes, be open-minded and see what gifts you might find.
So we'll just go with that, because honestly, it's definitely one of those days where, I feel like the flow sometimes is a little bit more chaotic, frankly.
Because it's not that simple.
Yeah, it's not that simple
It's
always.
not that simple. Yeah.
And there's there are calm, babbling book streams, and then there's rapids.
That's right.
And
everything in between.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So it's all good.
I think so.
Well, I think that this brings us to the end of a very chaotic, but still yet meaningful and insightful podcast.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Lots of little gold nuggets in there, guys.
I even know where I'd go from.
No, I think we've wrapped up our flowing river of discussion.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Oh, discussion. That's better.
Discussion. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. Good times. Good times.
All right. Well, if you got this far in the craziness, we'll say like and subscribe, because that's what we have to do at the end of these things. And
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe we should say it at the beginning in case
Maybe.
we make it this far.
But I know our diehards are still here. Our diehard fans are still here. And
True.
I'm going to shout out to them. And thank you for being here right till the end. We love you and hope that you enjoyed this. And hope to see you at the next one.
Yeah, we totally love you. Thank you so much, and have a really great time. Till the next.
Yes. Awesome. Take care till next time. Bye, guys.
Where's the button?
Thanks for watching Kim and Angela talk. Please like and subscribe below. Click on the links below in the description to book sessions with Kim at keycranio.com and with Angela at treeoflighthealingarts.com.